baby.
Bam, 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 bam. Put some effects. Bam, bam. What's up? M.I.P Show episode 2 coming to you live on FB, aka Facebook, and we're on podcast recording as well. Super excited.
Yeah, man. I'm also very excited to go over and talk about some exciting topics. Whatever topics we have, we're going to be talking and sharing with people today. So stay tuned for the M.I.P Show. This is going to be long, but I'm excited. Thank you for the like, whoever you are. Comment. We want to know who you are.
Right.
What's your name? I can only see your picture with the Snapchat. Let me see your name, boy. Comment.
Right, and as part of the M.I.P Show, we love to create conversation.
What's up, Paulo?
Paulo, how's it going? We like to create conversation, so we're gonna touch on some awesome topics. I mean, today, touch on some topics. I mean, we're gonna touch more on the Venezuela situation, talk more in depth on that, talk more about conspiracy, and what your thoughts on that whole thing is. You know, we're excited because I know Steve is passionate about some of those topics. You know, especially with the conspiracy and the whole shenag. So we're going to touch on some of the topics, guys, and if there's any specific topics you guys want us to touch on to create conversation around, always comment, put your thoughts, what you'd like to put your suggestions in. Super excited.
Yes, and we are also live on the podcast, guys. Paulo, you are awesome. What's up, guys? Please comment. I want to see you guys. It looks like, Amata Darlene, I know you're there, and you're probably still there. Reggie, shout out to you. Andrew, shout out to you. Shout out to everyone who has joined. Okay, let's get it. Share some topics that are interesting because, again, guys, the first thing I want to talk about is we R.I.P. to Kimbo Slice.
Kimbo Slice. Wow, Kimbo Slice. To be honest, that's an actual that's a random, but random death. You know when those random deaths happen, you're like, whoa, out of nowhere. Kimbo Slice. I was in middle school. Funny story. I was in middle school. I used to watch his videos, and they used to just be like the backyard fights. It was just kind of ghetto, but. Funny, dude. It was funny. Kimbo Slice, but R.I.P. to him, man. He was a cool guy.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think of Kimbo Slice's death? And guys, for those who are just joining, welcome to the M.I.P Show, Millennials Implemented Philosophy, hosted by S&T Philosophies. And guys, we do this every Tuesday. We're gonna post, but we're switching it up. Okay, every Saturday we're gonna post a live feed of the content on the podcast, and then the actual content and the recap of it will be posted on Tuesday at noon. So stay tuned for that. But we're talking on some key topics before we go into the actual message. And one of them is paying, obviously R.I.P. to the legend, as Andrew K says. R.I.P. Okay, it's so sad. It makes me sad. I wanted to cry this morning. I'm a very emotional person sometimes. A big teddy bear per se, but Kimbo Slice, you're dead. Muhammad Ali dead. I mean,
it's so like, blatant. It's so straightforward. It's like, hey, R.I.P. to those legends, man. Awesome people.
Yo, who's liking our post like that? We love that. Who are you? Please comment your name.
You just won $1,000.
It looks like Corey. It's Corey Meadows. Sorry if I butchered your last name there. People say my last name wrong. So, but Corey, thank you for all the likes, man. Oh wait, it's you, Andrew. Wait. Marvin says he was a legend. What do you guys think of Muhammad Ali's death?
Oh man. R.I.P. to him. He was the greatest. But one of the quotes I actually posted on my page, one of the quotes I loved what he said was, he knew he was the greatest before he ever was, which is insane because we all now from his perspective saying that, we all understand that it all starts in the mindset. And that's a message that all started with S&T Philosophies is it first needs to become a mindset before anything becomes tangible.
Right.
You gotta think. In order to attain it, you gotta believe you can attain it first. So, super excited.
Okay.
Thanks for the.
Jeez, whoever is liking like that, you are awesome. Keep it up. And we want to obviously, see your comments. Andrew says he was a true icon.
Oh, yeah.
And, they were his idols. I mean, I don't have idols per se. I look up to people that push me to the next level. I don't call them idols. I call them people that inspire me, essentially. But everyone has different things to say. But Andrew, I can definitely understand. Marvin says, in random news for fighters, Brock Lesnar is returning to UFC.
Whoa, Brock Lesnar. Dude, that was my favorite wrestler. I love that guy.
Okay, I mean, he's gonna. This guy's a badass. I mean, Brock Lesnar was awesome. If I ever saw Brock Lesnar and he was like, "Yo, I want to beat your butt," I'm running away. I don't know about you guys, but this guy is a beast.
Yeah.
He lives for hurting people, and we love Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, you're awesome.
One of the best fights I always looked forward to was him and Undertaker. Bam, that was one of the biggest fights.
You think so?
Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. That was.
I mean, you see, WrestleMania when Brock Lesnar broke his record, guys. I almost went in tears. But let's not go off topic, guys.
Right.
We wanted to give you a message. So now we're going to share with you a message, a positive message where you can go and really utilize in your own life today to help you move to that next level. And for those who live in the Randolph area, by the way, like our page, S&T Philosophies LLC. Like our page, follow our content on YouTube. Our Snapchat is popping up with some phenomenal individuals from all over the United States and the world. Every month we will feature a bunch of phenomenal people doing something positive in the community, whether it's young females, whether it's young entrepreneurs, whatever it may be. We will feature these individuals on the Snapchat, and they will share with you positive content you can use. Like Richie, for example. Richie today, who's taken over the Snapchat out in New York, he's a real estate agent and works with one of the #1 brokerage companies out there, which
shout out to him.
Yeah, I know. Which is I forget what it's called. I think it's like Element something. But it's the #1 brokerage real estate company out there, and it's phenomenal the type of information he's given on that Snapchat for people who are interested in real estate investing, for people who want to impact the community. Jesus Lord, we love you, Corey. Keep going with those likes and wows. Those are some awesome things. I mean, your hand is probably going like 5 miles per hour right there, or 1,000 miles per hour. But keep it up. But back to Richie. Follow the content, guys. Add us on Snapchat. See the content from different individuals. We got Lexi Apignati hopping on tomorrow, which is going to be phenomenal. But yes, we're going to share the message, and then we're going to talk about another cool, interesting topic.
We're going to create conversation.
Kick it off.
But topic we wanted to speak on today was definitely the message around it is not where you are, it is where you are going, which is so important. And I want to share a quick story. This past weekend, I just overcame I just achieved a goal that I set a year and a half ago, which was moving to a bigger apartment for my family and for us. It was an awesome accomplishment, and it was a huge eye-opener where I was like, wow, I actually, accomplished it. And it was because I never focused on where I actually was. I mean, I'm sure most of you guys don't know, but the apartment I was living in, I mean, shout out to my landlord, Tom. He's awesome. He gave me the opportunity to rent that, for us to rent that space out. But to stay on topic, really small, got the little baby kitchen, bathroom, whatever it might be. But I was grateful for that. But I always kept the end vision in mind. Whereas this is not where I'll be, this is not where I'll stay, but this is just a stepping stone into where I'll go, because I stayed focused on my vision. I stayed focused on where I wanted to be: a bigger apartment, nicer area, and it came true this past weekend, which I was super excited for me and my family. I mean, super awesome. Steve, you got to stop by where we can have some
barbecue,
have a good time, right? But hey, I have a backyard now, and we have a pool, so it's pretty awesome.
Hey.
But to stay on topic, yeah, guys, it's where you're going, not where you are. I mean, I ran into countless obstacles from that year and a half experience. Countless. Getting notifications of bills and all this crazy stuff. I mean, in that moment, we might feel like we don't like we're not getting closer to our goal, or we're not getting closer to where we want to be in that end vision. But we all have to understand that obstacles are our opportunities, where when you decide to handle the opportunity handle the obstacle as an opportunity, that's when you are moving forward. You're struggling forward. You're being challenged to grow and move forward. So again, guys, my message to you guys is any obstacle comes in your way, understand that it's an opportunity, and where you want to be next year, next month, tomorrow, 5 years, 20 years from now, always keep that end vision and goal. That end vision in mind, because when you where focus goes, energy flows, and you're bound to hit your goal when you're focused on your goal. So stay focused. It's not where you are, it's where you're going.
Hey, I love it. And just to kind of add on to that message, it's not where you are, it's where you're going. I can't stress that enough. If it means sleeping on the floor, if it means sleeping in the car, if it means sleeping on a piece of poop, if it means sleeping on shit, excuse my language, you have to make it work, guys.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. If you consider yourself an entrepreneur, and Gary Vee, we follow him to the T, and everything he says, he stresses it the most. Andrew says, "What is your take on the gorilla?" We will touch about that
we'll create
later.
conversation.
If it means sleeping on shit, guys, to get to where you need to be, do that. A lot of times I find a lot of people, so comfortable with where they're at and what they're doing that they forget the end goal. Mm-hmm. And then they just like, oh, I deserve this, I deserve that. A lot of people feel entitled. It sucks, especially in the black community. A lot of people feel entitled. And I said it, I'm black and I'm saying it. In the black community, a lot of us feel entitled. It's the worst thing you can ever do for yourself. You're not entitled to shit. The world does not owe you crap. You need to wake up, right? You need to wake up and decide whether or not you want to be successful. A lot of people say, he's in a better environment. He grew up with a rich family. He grew up with a rich dad. He grew up with a wealthy. It doesn't matter. Yes, that may play an impact in their growth and in their success. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, what I find is most of them decided to make it happen. You have to decide to make it happen for something to happen in your life. If you decide to just sit and not do anything, guess what? You're not going to do anything or get anything. But if you decide that I will get up, I will go work out, I will put in that consistent, push-ups, 10 push-ups a day, you will get fit. And it starts with little progress, the little things you do. But as long as you keep it consistent, you should see massive, massive results. But that's the message. That's the positive message. Let's go into the talking.
Bam, bam, bam. Wish we had effects. Bam, bam, bam.
Okay.
Bam. All right.
What's your take on the gorilla? Let's answer.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Take on the gorilla. Well, first off, my perspective, I don't think it was right that they killed the gorilla. Don't get me wrong. I understand the gorilla was dragging the child around. But, I come from a perspective where I put myself in the shoes of the gorilla, where you're caged in for your whole life. You're an endangered species. That's a new fact I found out. And you might not have a lot of friends to play with, and you finally see a young child. You acknowledge the fact that it was a child, so you didn't go off and, beat the human up, but you saw it as a child. You showed some type of care. I mean, I think the whole dragging part was he wanted to play, Does not, it's not an excuse for, if it was the right action to do, but, I mean, I don't think it was right to kill the gorilla, but I do understand it was a panic situation where, it was a young child with a big gorilla, and
really,
they probably just
at me.
They I didn't even point to you. I just went like this. Anyways, it was a gorilla and a child. I understand it's a panic situation, and unfortunately, the gorilla was killed. But R.I.P. to Gorilla Black. And hope that child's okay. That's my perspective.
My perspective on the gorilla. I mean, hey, when it comes down to a human and an animal, I'll pick the human every single day. I mean, as much as I want to like cuddle with that animal, play wishy-washy. Oh, nice animal. No. The human is more important. So I completely understand and see why the zoo officials killed the gorilla. I would have done the same thing. If I had a pistol on me, I would have shot the gorilla myself. But that's besides the point. Andrew, I hope we answered your topic and we answered your question there. What's your take on the gorilla, Andrew? I want to see you comment your take on the gorilla year, because that is also important. We want to hear your message. But what we wanted to discuss
yes, definitely. And briefly, we spoke about Venezuela. We tried to touch on what was going on, but I wanted to talk more in depth because you know what? I said, you know what? I'm doing my research. I want to see some credible sources, and I really want to talk about Venezuela. And because we talked about how crazy things are happening down there, but I don't think we really touched on exactly what's going on there. So what I did is I found a lot of information.
Oh, wow.
And I came prepared, as I told Steve. But hey, let's figure out what's going on in Venezuela. So with my research, first, it started off with oil prices. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys know, but Venezuela was known for the was an oil-rich country. Venezuela, relied on the export revenues to produce and support their country. 95% of those revenues they relied on to support their country. So it all started with oil prices plummeting. They plummeted, which resulted in not being able to buy the right resources. Companies were seeing that the Venezuela wanted to buy at a discounted price, but companies were losing money doing that. So there were certain companies that bailed out and said, "Listen, we can't, give you food or anything like that." And but in brief, what's going on in Venezuela? First off, shortages and queues. So a few details I pulled up was the fact that the hardest items to get a hold of are the 42 staples, which are the milk, the rice, coffee, sugar, corn flour, and cooking oil. And as I just said, food companies complain that the regulated prices, because the president did decide to put price caps on certain things. Companies weren't agreeing to that, and they weren't becoming profitable. Unfortunately, we live in that type of world where everything's about making money.
Unfortunately. It's sad.
And then the other one is inflation. The annual inflation is at 159% and projected to hit 200% according to the fund they have out there. It's called the IMF. Exchange rate. Venezuela has 3 official exchange rates, one including the black market, which Venezuelans are leaning more toward because it costs less to exchange money. For an example, $1 will buy you 6.3 bolivars at the lowest official rate, while on the black market it will fetch a whopping 800 bolivars, according to the widely used website Dollar Today.
800 bolivars.
800.
What is bolivars? Explain
that's their
to
currency.
The community. Okay,
that's their currency.
Okay.
What's going on is their living standard. One of the proudest achievements of Chavismo, as a politics of the late president Hugo Chavez, which was the prior president from who the president is now. They were all known for reducing poverty and inequality. So the social programs sponsored by the government helped boost the income and the environment, but because the whole plummet, what's happening right now with the oil and the whole shortages and things like that, now it's predicted to really make a huge bad effect on the community.
Okay.
In my other notes, I mean, in short, their main resources aren't being produced because oil prices plummeted. They don't have the right money, and now they can't support their community, which sucks and is unfortunate. And I wanted to touch on something that Stephen touched on, whereas he referred to an article that was of a guy who shot himself, apparently wrote a suicide note about exposing the government. From my perspective on that, that's conspiracy, that's hypothesis, it's a theory, there's no fact to that. And Steve did make the statement and a comment of saying that it's the same thing that's happened in Venezuela. I will disagree because that has nothing to do with what's going on in Venezuela, because in Venezuela it all coming down to mismanagement. It's mismanagement and price and currency controls. That's what's happening in the government. It's not being led right. That's why 1.85 million protestees signed a petition to replace the president. So, with that being said, guys, that's what's happening in Venezuela, guys, and hopefully it gets better out there. But to touch on the whole conspiracy thing, I don't think there's any type of conspiracy thing going on. I think that's a whole different topic, what's going on, and I think it's important that when we point out these conspiracies or New World Order or whatever it might be, we don't mix it up with factual and theory, because that's important.
Okay, I want to jump in here. First of all, if you think the NWO, which is the New World Order, if you think it exists, please comment. I want to hear your thoughts on this, because a lot of times people forget, and we're so focused on the day-to-day that we forget to look at our environment. First of all, the news in America, this is what I believe, and no one else needs to believe in me. I'm not saying this to have people believe in me and to build like a group of militia. No, I don't want that. No. I'm saying this because these are my thoughts and these are my beliefs, and he's saying that because those are his thoughts and his beliefs, and we want to hear your thoughts and beliefs in the comments. A lot of people were commenting earlier, but I think the NWO, it's something that exists. Okay, it exists, but it's not publicized, and the reason I say that is because if you look at there's a lot of similarities with what's happening in Venezuela, because the news wants you to know something else that they filter the news. So where you get your news and where you get your information is important, because a lot of times people don't get the right information. I was speaking to this woman. She's a little bit older than me. She's like 46, 40s, probably in her 50s, 60s, whatever. I don't know, man. She was an older woman. She was educated and she was smart and she knew her stuff. Okay, she knew her shit. So I sat down with her and I'm like, talk to me, educate me. Where would I want to get, let's say, more information about what's happening in another country? And she said the best source, the best way to get it, okay, is to go outside the United States and watch the news come in. So, see, a lot of times I feel like 9/11 was a planned attack set up by the government, and this is something I like to share a lot, because a lot of people lost their lives during that moment. I don't care if you don't believe me. Like I said, I'm not here to create a militia to fight the government. No, that's not my intention. My intention is to just talk about trending topics, some fun topics that we can engage the community with. The reason I love working with this guy so much is because we always have mixed thoughts and mixed agendas. So when he has a decision on something, I have a different decision on something. And this is why we decided to create this M.I.P show, because we would talk about this for hours. Just like, hey, what do you think is going on here? Where's your side? Where do you think the future's going? And it's just a fun time talking with Thomas. And the reason we decided to launch this podcast and kind of provide a live feed, so people see the audio of what's going on. But guys, that's essentially it for us.
Can I touch on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. He said it's important where your resources come. So I wanted to actually challenge you on that, Steve. And I did a little bit of my research, and with the article you did mention with the whole suicide note, guy killing himself, exposed in the government, whatever it might be. I looked on Google. I even went on the second page on the resources that was coming in from, and those were personal websites, blog posts, whatever it might be from people who might believe in the same thing you're believing in. Mm-hmm. So the specific source your story came from was The Informer, which The Informer got from a website called Superstation 95. And then I also found it on the Daily Coin, Revolution Radio, and the Daily Sheeple. Mm-hmm. So I tried to refer to some more credible resources, like the New York Post and the New York Daily News. Mm-hmm. And this might come into the whole play where you think that the news won't publicize certain things. I understand that. But on those, on the two credible, New York Post and New York Daily News, they did not mention anything about a suicide note.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to know that, I just point out to you guys, when you're researching this stuff, understand you have to know the difference between factual and theory.
Right.
But that's important Be careful how you're finding your information. Make sure the source is credible. Awesome. I mean, a great conversation.
Right.
What about you? What are your thoughts?
I want to continue this conversation just to kind of close it out. Check out Alex Jones on YouTube, the Alex Jones channel. That's a phenomenal channel. If you want to see, current news that is not filtered. He posts information every time. Donald Trump even talks about it in the elections. If you pay attention to what's going on in the elections, he talks about factual information with what's going on. And a lot of times I read the Bible every morning. A lot of times the messages in the Bible correlate to what's happening with everything in terms of research that I do. I'm not saying you need to be like me and do research, but look at the Alex Jones channel, for example. That's something I follow. And then I look at another channel called Currency 365. That's another one. And a few other things that I follow. And the messages just... And Eyes Open Media, that's another one. The messages just kind of correlate and they meet each other in the middle, which is why I truly believe, and that's why I picked up that book, NWO. If you look at my Facebook page, you can see it. Nice book, awesome book, good content. I don't care what you think about it. I love you still. But that's essentially it, guys. We're wrapping up the show. Thank you for tuning in live, and look out for more.
Bam. M.I.P Show. Bam. I don't know which one was about to die. But bam, M.I.P Show closing it out. Have a great day, guys. Catch us next week on our M.I.P Show, Tuesdays, noontime. Super excited. Logging out.